Well, Robert, thank you again for 10 years at Point Rental.
Oh, thank you.
So what did you do before coming to here at Point Rental?
I have been in software development for most of my career.
Mm-hmm.
If you wanted a brief history, I'd go, I dropped out of college. I went to the Navy for 5 years. I did computers in the Navy.
Okay.
I got out of the Navy and I started working in the software industry. I worked in telecom. I worked in finance. I worked in HR.
Okay.
And I followed my last boss, Evan Fort, from an HR software company to Point of Rental.
Okay. Well, it's good. I guess instead of asking you what haven't you done, I guess you've done everything. And then in terms of how did you hear about Point Rental, I'm assuming it was through Evan.
No, it was not. I applied for Evan's job, but he had already gotten it. And then he was like, well, come on in. Let's see what we do have for you.
Oh my gosh. That's so funny. So what did you, when you first started here at Point Rental, what was your exact job role or title?
So I was the software architect for Point of Rental Essentials, which was a non-existent software as a service cloud.
Just architecting
RMS.
like an imaginary thing, is that?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what you start with, right? When you don't have a building yet, you need an architect to design the building.
That's fair. That's fair.
When you don't have a piece of software yet, you need an architect to design the software. So that's how I started at Point of Rental.
Okay, gotcha. So, after 10 years, I'm assuming are you still architecting it or are you on to other things?
Well, I'm now running all of the development department at Point of Rental. So actually all of the software products are rolling up to me. Mm-hmm. And I am particularly focused on driving forward our unified framework and our unified approach to software development, which we hope is going to make us more efficient and able to deliver more features to more customers on all of our RMSs as we build things once and use them in all three.
Well, not going to lie, most of that went over my head, but it sounds impressive, which is good. I mean, that's why you're in your job and I'm where I'm at. So what do you like the most about working at Point of Rental? I mean, you've been here for 10 years, which to me sounds like an incredibly long time. So I'm sure there's more than a handful of things that you really like about the company.
Well, so I will say that the culture at Point of Rental is really what keeps me here, the way that Point of Rental cares for its employees. Mm-hmm. Not everything at Point of Rental is, the best in the industry, but Point of Rental is a place that cares and makes changes and improves itself as a company and as a company culture. And I've seen that change over the 10 years that I've been here, I've seen distinct points where we made changes to better benefit our employees. The most recent one is our change in the PTO policy last year, right? It was huge benefit for all of Point of Rental employees. We care about employees' work-life balance. And, when I'm interviewing people for a job at Point of Rental, our epic values is really, that's what I tout. I feel like Point of Rental is a place where almost every employee, you can ask them, except Evan, apparently, but almost every employee, you can ask, what does EPIC stand for? What are our EPIC values? And they actually know. And I know for myself, when we're making decisions in development, we'll go back and go, well, we're going to do this because that is innovative, or we're going to do this because that's the caring thing to do, And so it really, empowering, principled, innovative, caring, those are the things that keep me at Point of Rental.
Yeah, 100%. And I think there's a lot of pointers that will agree with you on how great our work culture is here. So let's talk about something outside of work. Is there a hobby or interest that you have that you feel like you could just talk about for hours and hours and hours?
So I love poetry. I write poetry, and that's probably what I spend my most time on outside of, family time, which is obviously my first priority outside of work is writing. And I write poetry, I write fiction, I write fantasy, children's novels. I illustrate them. And I'm not published in any of my fiction endeavors, but I have had poetry accepted to some fairly prestigious journals. And so I feel like I'm certainly not making a career as a poet. I'm no Billy Collins, but no Maya Angelou here. But I love to write poetry.
Yeah. Do you go to live events, like the slam poetry night things where you read it in front of people?
Yeah, definitely open mic nights. I absolutely do. I will go, and I have gone and read my poetry at poetry nights.
Have to get an invite for the next one. That'll be exciting. So let's say that a new pointer is coming to you, maybe a new hire or just, someone else in the company. What would be like the number one advice that you would give to a brand new pointer? It's a good question.
It is a good question. And because, there are several things that come to mind immediately. And so, the very first one that came to mind was, dig in and really learn our products. No matter what department you're working in, you really need to understand what our products are and what they're offered. But then immediately, as soon as I was like, no, that's not the thing that a new employee really needs to know. The first thing that a new employee really needs to do is they need to embrace caring of all of our values, caring, and particularly caring for our customers, believing that we were put as a company on this earth to make our customers, rental businesses, better and more successful. If you let that drive how you interact with them, how you build a product, how you do software development, how you sell software, it's a completely different approach from what any other company is doing. So those are my two. I'll leave you with two.
All right, we'll allow you to answer with two. So, all right, we're on to the final question. We're right here on the finish line. Let's pretend, or maybe you are, if your poetry really starts kicking off in some of these books, that you're here at the Oscars, you got the trophy in your hand, and you're here to thank everyone who got you, where you are today. Because 10 years is a huge accomplishment. So who do you think you can thank other than me for where you are here today?
Well, I would like to, thank Wayne for making the initial decision to hire me and for putting trust in me throughout these years in increasing levels of responsibility. I'd love to thank Evan, who has always, supported me, led me, challenged me, and encouraged me, and given me feedback on how I could improve myself. And then it wouldn't be complete if I didn't thank the entire development team who, we don't develop in an island, and I certainly couldn't have done anything without the amazing developers that are working around me. And so absolute thanks to all of those developers that are helping to make our products the great products that they are.
Yeah, shout out to the developers. So honestly, thank you so much for 10 years, Robert, and here's for 10 more after that.
Absolutely. I will be here in 10 years from now.